Hello, welcome to my channel. So in my last video, I dealt with how to prevent and fix leggy seedlings. So in today's video, I will deal with how to further take care of your seedlings by providing them with moisture, food, hair flow, thinning, and repotting. So the first thing I will get into is moisture. It's very important to keep your seedlings moist at all times. And one of the clear indication that your seedlings need watering is when the surface looks dry. So with the surface looking dry, it means that your seedlings need watering. And it's always a good idea to water from the bottom. After the true leaves have developed on your seedlings, if you so desire, it's a good idea to give your seedlings a dose of plant food. For me personally, I only feed my flowers with plant food such as Miracle Grow. For my vegetables and my food seedlings, I do not use any form of fertilizer or food or plant food. I want my vegetables and my crops that I'm growing to be 100% organic, so for that reason I do not feed them with any plant food whatsoever. I know they're organic or plant foods such as fish emulsion, but that's just my choice not to feed my vegetable and my food crops with any form of fertilizer. What I use for that is a good dose of composting in my garden. Another thing for your seedlings is airflow. The seedling needs enough air to prevent fungus and mold. And that's especially for me who start my seeds indoors, or for whomever start their seeds indoors. The windows are closed, doors are closed. So it's a good idea to provide some form of air. And you could do that by using a fan, a little fan to have the air circulate for a few hours on your seedlings. And also having the airflow going through your seedlings, it's another way of mimicking the outside environment, and that allowed the plants or the seedlings to become stocky and strong, which is exactly what you want. And this can be done for a few hours per day. The next step is thinning. So seedlings, once they have developed their true leaves, they start to compete for nutrients. And as most of us do, we plant 2 or more seeds in each cell, just in case 1 doesn't develop or 2 doesn't develop, then we are guaranteed development from the 3rd seed. So if all 3 seedlings happen to germinate, we need to go in and thin those plants so that they're not all competing for the same nutrients. So one way of doing that is, and I can demonstrate that to you. So these are my cool weather crops that I planted back, and you can see that in one of my previous videos. So for example, this one here is my Swiss chard, and I actually have 5 seedlings going here. So I do not need all 5 seedlings. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna choose the healthiest of my 5 seedlings, okay? And what I will do, I will just get rid of the others. So that's 1, that's 2, and that's 3, okay? So now I left with 1 seedling, and this seedling will be getting all the nutrients, all the moisture that's in my seed block, okay? Sometimes your seedlings are still delicate are still delicate, and so you may need to snip them with the scissors instead of pulling, because in pulling you need to be very careful not to destroy your seedlings. Okay, so that's it. I will get rid of these excess two, and I will leave me one, which is the healthiest of the three. And as you may notice, these are true leaves. Okay, all right, and yes, so that's it. Another thing your seedling may need is repotting or transplanting. And the clear indication that it's time to transplant your seedling to a larger pot is when you notice their roots coming out at the very bottom. It means that the seedling is now outgrowing its current pot and need to be transplanted or repotted to a larger pot. Normally for my first transplant, I would use a 3 to 4 inches pot. I noticed that tomato grow really fast, so I'm going to repot this tomato plant, and I noticed they grow really fast, so I'm going to use a bigger pot than a 4-inch. Okay, so what I will do, I will go ahead and I will fill my pot with soil. And what I like to do, because I'm starting my seeds indoors, I like to use the Miracle-Gro indoor potting mix. I don't want to bring the outdoor potting mix in my indoor environment, so I like to use the indoor potting mix. And next I would make it really moist and crumbly, not too wet, just moist and crumbly. And when I hold it like this, see, it's all crumbly, and then it falls apart as soon as I touch it. So that's the texture I'm looking for. So what I will do, I will go ahead and I will fill my pot with my potting mix for the transplanting or repotting. Okay. And I'll do about a 3/4 of a pot, and from here I will go ahead, make a hole in the middle of my pot, and I will gently take my seedling. I can like to turn it upside down. Some people would yes, as you can see, there's quite a bit of root there, and I don't want to disturb that, so I'm just gonna go set that in the middle of that hole I've created, and press it down a little. And from here I'm just gonna, the other thing, this tomato plant is a little leggy, and that happens because I did my seedlings and I didn't check them for about 3 days. I totally forgot, and when I did remember and went, they were all sprouted, and with that lack of sunlight and air, they had all shooted up. So this is a little leggy, but you can always get away with that when it comes to tomato plants, because tomato plants rather to be planted deeply, as it roots better and give you a sturdier plant. So, you know, for the tomato, I can easily get away with that. So I will just top up with a little bit more soil. Just bring it all the way up to the stem, you can see. Yeah. And then I will just use my finger to make sure it's firmly in place. Okay. So that's me repotting or transplanting my seedlings. So I will now go ahead and get rid of the non-true leaves. Okay. So that's it here, and here's one that had fell off, so that's 2 non-through leaves. Okay, now that the plant has been transplanted or repotted to a bigger size pot, the plant now has more room to develop and to absorb nutrients, and it has space now to grow and become a stronger plant. Okay. The other thing I didn't mention, but I will briefly go over, is pruning, or as some people would call it, snipping. And what that is is instead of having a straight lengthy plant, you want to have your plant robust and have more leaves and branches and leaves. So for that, what you would do, this is my pepper plant, and I will go ahead and prune that just so you can see. So for this, these are the two non-true leaves, so I'm gonna get rid of these as the plant no longer needs these, and as we said, they're just taking energy away from the plant itself. So I'm gonna get rid of those, and then I'm gonna come in my scissors. I used it previously, so I don't want to use this again. I want to keep things sanitized as much as possible. So I'm gonna go in, and after my true leaves, I have several true leaves going on here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, a lot. So as soon as your true leaves get about 5 leaves or so, you can go ahead and prune. Mine has way more than 5 leaves. So I'm gonna go on in and I'm gonna prune my pepper plant, okay? And that's me pruning it. And what that will do now, it will let the plant grow more branches, so I have a fuller plant instead of one straight stem. An example of that is, this is my snapdragon. I pruned them just another day, the other day, or pinch as some people call it, and now you can see they're having different branches and spreading out. So this is the effect I want with my plants, spreading out instead of going into one straight leggy plant. Okay, so this method is called pruning, or some people would say pinch back. So I've just covered all the necessary steps that you need to take care of your seedlings, to have them grow into strong, healthy, robust plants. Okay, so in my next video we will go over how to harden off your plants before planting them outdoors. So stay tuned for that. Okay, and I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching this video, and have yourself a great day. Bye now.